Practice problems, part 4 for the geometry midterm review. Okay, here we want to solve for the value of x. We have vertical angles right here. So if this angle is 43, then this angle will also be 43. Okay, and we can see this angle is congruent to this angle. So if this one is 2x, this one is also going to be 2x. And then we can just add the three angles inside this and set them equal to 180. So we have 2x plus 43 plus 51 equals 180. Combining like terms, 43 plus 51 is 94. And then subtracting 94 on both. Bring down the 2x. 94's cancel. And this equals 86. And then dividing both sides by 2. X equals 43. Okay, here we're given the ratio and proportion. They want us to find SR. So that's this length right here. We might as well call it X. And then plugging in for the fractions, we have SQ. Now SQ runs all the way from S to Q. So this side length right here is actually going to be X plus 12. So in place of SQ, I'm going to put X plus 12. SR is X. TV is this whole thing right here from T to V. So that's just going to be 3 plus 8, which is 11. And then TU is just this right here, that's 3. Alright, now we just cross multiply. You want to use parentheses here and do X plus 12 times 3. And that equals X times 11. Distributing 3 times 12. And then 3 times positive X. And that equals 11x. Combining likes, subtract 3x from both sides. Cancels here. Bring down the 36. 11 minus 3 is 8. And then dividing both sides by 8. That is going to be that's going to be 4.5 or 4.5. Number 3, given that N is the in-center, what is NL? Okay, you want to remember that the in-center is where the angle bisectors meet. So this point right here, these red segments are the angle bisectors and they meet right here. Okay, and the in-center, the main thing to remember is the distance to each side of the triangle is congruent from the in-center. Okay, so this segment is the same length as this segment and this segment. Okay, so if we're looking to find NL, which is this one right here, we can find any one of these blue line segments and it's going to be the same length. So we just want to use Pythagorean theorem right here. Okay, so we can just use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And c is always the hypotenuse. It's always across from your right angle. So this side here is always going to be c. And the other two sides, it doesn't matter which is which. So I'll let the 28 equal a, and I'll let this side here equal b. So for a squared, it's going to be 28 squared. For b squared, we just leave it. And for c squared, it's going to be 36 squared. Okay, you can square each one, but I would rather just subtract first. So 28 squared, I'm going to remove that from both sides. And right here it cancels. And I have b squared equals this right here. The opposite of squaring something is to take the square root. So I'm just going to take the square root of both sides. Square root of b squared is b. And then I'll just do this on the calculator. Okay, and I got a decimal. If we want to round it to 1, just look at the second decimal place. If it's less than 5, then you just round it down. So it's going to be approximately 22.6. And like we said before, that is going to be the same length as the one we were looking for. So this one right here equals this one right here. So NL is approximately 22.6. Alright, this is the most difficult problem on the midterm. Want to find the distance from this point right here to this line. Okay, so they give us the line, and when we draw the line segment from the point to the line, it's going to make a right angle. It's going to be perpendicular. So we have to find the perpendicular slope. Alright, so we see that the slope right now is just 1/3. Okay, but for the perpendicular slope, alright, that upside down T means perpendicular. You want to flip it and change the plus minus sign. So flip it, and it's going to be 3/1. This one's positive, so I'll make this one negative. So this right here is going to be the slope of the segment that connects the point to the line. Alright, so this slope translates as down 3 and also right 1. Okay, so we're going to apply that and go from the dot to the line. Alright, so let's see. Okay, down 3, 1, 2, 3, and right 1. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. And then down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1. So it hits the line at this point right here. And that point, we can see the x-coordinate on this point is at positive 3. And we can see the y-coordinate is at negative 6. Okay, and they gave us this point here is negative 1, 6. So you can use Pythagorean theorem and make a right triangle, or you can use the distance formula. Alright, so if you want, you can use the distance formula, but I'm just going to make a right triangle. Okay, so I'm just going to draw in a right triangle here. And right here as well. Okay, so this distance, it goes from 6 to negative 6, so this side length is 12. And this one here, it goes from negative 1 to positive 3. This side length is 4. And the hypotenuse is going to be that line that connects the 2 points. This is a right angle right here, and this is going to be my hypotenuse C. So we're still doing a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, a and b, it doesn't matter, so I'll let a equal 12 and I'll let b equal 4. So a squared is 12 squared, b squared is 4 squared, and that equals the hypotenuse. That's going to be 144 plus 16 equals c squared, and this right here is 160. And then taking the square root of both sides, this is your answer right here. If you wanted to simplify, I probably won't make you in the multiple choices, but if you wanted to, this is the same as 16 times 10. So that's going to be 4 radical 10. And the square root of c squared is just c. So something like this you might want to save for the last problem. Alright, number 5, this is just the exterior angle theorem. So the exterior angle right here equals the sum of the two interiors that are not next to it, okay, or not adjacent. So you just ignore this angle here, and 5x plus 17 is going to equal the sum of these two angles right here. So it's going to be 37 plus 3x plus 16. Okay, and combining likes, 37 plus 16, that's going to be 53. And we still have 3x. This is 5x plus 17. Alright, letters on one side, numbers on the other. I always subtract the smaller x. So subtract 3x. 5x minus 3x is 2x. Cancels here. And we want the 17 on the other side. So I'll do minus 17 on both. Cancels here. Bring down the equal. 13 minus 7 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then solving for x, just divide both by 2. And that's going to be 18 for x. Alright, this one here we did on Khan Academy. This is just the angle bisector theorem. Okay, we see both of these angles are marked the same, so we know those two angles are congruent. So we can set up the two fractions with the side lengths. Okay, so I'm going to say this divided by 8.2 is going to equal, well, I'll let the question mark equal x. And that's going to equal 7.1 divided by x. And then you just cross multiply. 9.6x equals 8.2 times 7.1. And then solving, just divide both by 9.6. Cancels here, and use the calculator. I get 6.06, rounding off. Look at the second decimal. If it's 5 or more, you round up. So that's going to be approximately 6.1. Okay, here it's given that these are similar triangles, and we want to solve for y. That's this side length right here. So I am going to use this side length first when I make my fractions, and that's going to be BA. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the numerator. And what you want to do is be consistent. So BA is from triangle ABC. So I'm going to put ABC in the numerator, and this triangle DEF goes in the denominator. Now AB or BA is the first two letters. So I want the first two letters over here as well. That's going to be DE. So this is letter number 1 and 2. And then you can pick any other two. So let's just say letter 2 and 3. That's going to be BC and EF. So BC over EF. Okay, once you have these set up, it's pretty easy. So BA is just Y. And then DE is this one right here. That's 37.5. And then BC is this one right here. That's 16.5. And EF is this one right here. That's 27.5. Okay, so now we need to cross multiply. Y times 27.5 equals 37.5 times 16.5. Okay, solving for Y. Divide both sides by 27.5. Cancels here. I'll do this on the calculator. And I get Y equals 22.5. Okay, here we want to solve for X. We have an isosceles triangle. The 9 and the 9 are congruent. And this angle here is bisected. So that means when you draw this, it is going to be both an altitude and a median. So it is perpendicular. The other way you can think of it, with these two triangles, we have side, angle, side, side, angle, side. Since these two triangles are congruent, then these are both going to be right angles on the bottom, since 180 divided by 2 is 90. Anyhow, we're going to do Pythagorean theorem. Okay, go across from your right angle, and that's always going to be C. So C squared is 9 squared. The other sides, it doesn't matter. I'll let A equal 7, and I'll let this piece, just this piece here, equal B. So A is 7, A squared is 7 squared, and B is just B squared is just B squared. Okay, 7 times 7 is 49. 9 times 9 is 81. Subtract 49 from both. Bring down your B squared. 11 minus 9 is 2. 7 minus 4 is 3. So taking the square root of both sides, B is just going to be radical 32. Now, if we want to solve for X, that's the whole thing right here. So if this is B, this one is also B, and X is just going to be 2 times B. So X is just going to be 2 radical 32. Okay, I won't make you simplify, but if you wanted to, this would be 2 times, this is 8 or 4 times 2 times 4 for the 32. And the square root of 4 times 4 is just 4. So that's 8 radical 2. But I probably won't make you simplify. I'll give you multiple choices.